Imagine a mountain. Not just any mountain, but a peak that trembles and groans. It is alive with a power beyond human understanding. The air crackles with energy, thick with smoke that billows toward the heavens like a great dark column. Flashes of lightning rip through the gloom, illuminating the terrified faces of a people gathered at its base. They had journeyed far through desert sands. They faced uncertain futures led by a promise. The very ground shook beneath their feet. The sound is deafening. A great trumpet blast echoes across the barren landscape. It seems to come from the very heart of the inferno raging at the mountain's summit. At the center of this divine storm stands one man, Moses. He alone is called to ascend into the smoke and fire. He is the intermediary, the bridge between his people and their God. When Moses finally descends, his face shines with a celestial light. In his arms, he carries 2 tablets of stone, heavy not just with rock, but with the weight of destiny. What exactly happened on that mountain? What was the purpose of this dramatic revelation? The 10 Commandments were more than just a list of prohibitions. They were the constitution of a new nation, the very heart of a covenant, a sacred pact. God had promised to protect and guide the Israelites, to make them his chosen people. They were a fledgling nation, learning what it means to be free. They desperately needed a foundation, a set of rules to live by. Inscribed upon them, by the very finger of God, are 10 declarations, the pillars of a new covenant. Countless generations across millennia shaped civilizations, defining our understanding of right and wrong. The world was forever changed on that day. These 10 simple statements formed the bedrock of Western moral and legal thought. The first commandment is direct and absolute. You shall have no other gods before me. This commandment was a declaration of radical monotheism, an exclusive loyalty to a single creator. In the modern world, our gods may not be statues of wood or stone. They can be wealth, power, fame, or ideology. The second command flows, you shall not make for yourself an idol. To carve an idol is to attempt to control the divine. We craft gods that conveniently agree with our prejudices. We worship images we can manipulate. The third command addresses our words. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. A name carried power. Misuse is contempt. Then the fourth, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. For 6 days we work. On the 7th we rest. It was a revolutionary gift, a weekly pause for reflection, family, and worship. The fifth commandment marks a shift from duty to God to duties to one another. Honor your father and your mother. This is the only command with a promise, that your days may be long in the land. Stability of families builds stable nations. Next, the most stark prohibition, you shall not murder. This is a profound statement about the value of human life. It demands protection for the innocent, opposition to violence, and a call to be peacemakers, to stand up for the vulnerable and cherish every life. Its meaning reaches into the human heart. Anger, hatred, dehumanization that can lead to destructive acts must be confronted. It is a call to choose life in all its fullness, to build societies that protect the innocent and uphold the sanctity of life. The seventh command protects the covenant of marriage. You shall not commit adultery. Adultery shatters trust. It wounds families and communities. This command calls for faithfulness, respect, and the sacredness of commitments. Beyond marriage, faithfulness is a general ethic, in friendship, business, and every promise we make. The eighth command, you shall not steal. It protects property rights and the fruits of labor, the very basis of an orderly, prosperous community. Stealing today includes cheating on taxes, exploiting workers, fraud, and intellectual theft. The commandment calls for justice-based economics and integrity in commerce. It asks us to respect others' rights and to build economies based on fairness rather than exploitation. The ninth command forbids bearing false witness, perjury, slander, and gossip that destroy lives. A false word could condemn the innocent. In our age of instant communication, a careless tweet or malicious post can destroy a life. This law asks us to be guardians of one another's reputations, to speak with kindness and ensure our words are instruments of truth, not weapons. The final commandments move from outward acts to the inner world of desire. You shall not covet your neighbor's house, your neighbor's wife, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. This is a psychological insight. Desire can precede action. In a consumer culture saturated with adverts and curated lives, contentment is a radical discipline. By addressing the heart, this law seeks inner freedom, contentment, gratitude, and peace. Centuries after the fire on Mount Sinai, another teacher walked the hills of Galilee. His name was Jesus. He did not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it, to reveal its deepest meaning. When asked which commandment is greatest, he answered with two: love God and love your neighbor. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. The fulfillment of the first four commandments. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. The fulfillment of the final six commandments. Honor, protect life, be faithful, honest, just, and content. Love transforms the commandments from external prohibitions into an inner disposition, who we are called to be, rather than only what we must avoid. Jesus gives us the key: love as the source of justice, compassion, and moral life. Today is August 25th, 2025. Thousands of years have passed since Sinai. We live with artificial intelligence, space exploration, global networks, and grave challenges like climate change and polarization. It is easy to think ancient rules cannot speak to this world. Yet the commandments act as a moral anchor in a sea of change. They address relationship with the divine, the structure of families, the value of life, truth, justice, and the inner life. Truths that outlast technology. Applied today, they challenge us to build communities of reverence, respect, protection for the vulnerable, truth, and justice. Whether as sacred command or ancestral wisdom, their message endures, a call to reverence, respect, responsibility, and compassionate action. In the end, the story of the Ten Commandments is a story of hope. It says we are not doomed to live in chaos and violence. It is the promise that we can build societies based on higher principles, where life is cherished and justice is not for sale. Their echo continues to guide us toward a more loving and just future, an invitation to personal and communal transformation. Small acts of selfless love, compassion, and justice make the commandments come alive. If this moved you, please share your thoughts below, comment, like, and subscribe for more explorations of history, faith, and meaning. Thank you for watching.